traditionally smooth in nature, serving as quick routes for drivers, but that's not the case of the highway from Kaneshie First Light to the Odoko Waterworks area. There's more in this report for you.
Creamy beverages always delight the tongue. But splashes of the ones on the streets of Accra do not satisfy drivers. Instead, it makes their tongues wag with complaints and endless frustrations.
The situation has persisted for the past 7 years. We've been pleading with authorities, but to no avail. Because of the poor nature of the road, a lot of people have actually lost their lives while crossing it.
But how do these creamy beverages end up on the streets in the first place? Potholes. They are served and produced by potholes, a menace on almost all the roads in the country. Apart from serving what looks like beverages on the streets, potholes also create other embarrassing scenes on our roads. This is not a beach resort, neither is it a spot for relaxation. It's actually a lane on the Kaneshie-Mallam highway. Unfortunately, the place has now become a resting place for water, as you can see, and anytime it rains, it becomes a severe challenge not only for drivers but commuters alike. Terrible, devastating, and a real pain. These are some of the strong adjectives commuters use in describing the glaring potholes sitting in the middle of some parts of the Kaneshie-Mallam highway, a principal road network in the capital, Accra. A brief inspection of some parts of the highway from Kaneshie First Light to Odoko Waterworks indeed affirmed that the sentiments of road users are not far-fetched, neither are they exaggerations. But some things need to be said. The situation is simply an eyesore, posing a lot of unbearable inconveniences for commuters. Some of the road users who spoke to Joy News could simply not hide their displeasure.
Charlie, this one ain't no good, honestly. Every time, in less than like 6 months, it gets back to, worse. Yeah, it's really bad. This road originally was very, very good. They came with a certain machine and then they just graded the whole road. And the thing was supposed to fix it some way, somehow. And that's what actually started this whole thing.
It's very bad. And this road, they do the road. I don't know the kind of things they are using to do the road. If they do the road more than 1 month or less than 1 month, then there's damage again. And we are pleading to the government to come and do the road for us.
The cars are not able to move freely here due to the gullies, creating a very awkward situation all the time.
I wonder why authorities can't fix the situation. As usual, they are waiting for a child of a high-profile person to die on the road before they get to work. Meanwhile, if the youth block the road in protest now, they will be questioned. The road from here, that is Kaneshie First Light to Odoko, has some issues. Authorities should at least tackle some of the issues, even if not all.
Just in the middle of the road at Odoko Waterworks is a more dire situation. A pool, not designed by nature, sits openly in the road, created by constant friction between car tires and the road. The effects of the mini swimming pool at Odoko Waterworks have far-reaching consequences. Ordinarily, road users stand on the last lane, which has now been blocked by water, to board vehicles. But the potholes have compelled them to stand at a much riskier location to get on vehicles. This, they further lament, is worrying.
The water is just destroying the road, creating manholes on the road. The water has also blocked the road, so we are pleading with authorities to promptly address the situation.
The menace is increasingly severe, and the one thing the commuters want is nothing but an immediate solution. For the scores of road users who are not happy with the numerous potholes that have littered the stretch from Kaneshie First Light all the way to Odoko, their concern is that government must speedily intervene in order to avert the inconveniences that the situation normally poses for them. For Joy News, my name is Pakwesi Shandoff.
And continue to be a part of that campaign. All we need you to do is to hashtag GH Potholes on all of our social media platforms. So definitely pick that up and reach to the rest of the world, or perhaps share them as well to reach out to the authorities. I want to bring in now engineer, of course, Mahama, who's been monitoring all of this, helping us with an analysis and discussions ever since we started this exhibition. Engineer, thank you for spending some time with us. He's, of course, an engineer when it comes to road and building construction. Thank you for spending some time with us. You've seen the latest we've done on the Mallam area. I'm sure you're very familiar with the stretch. What do you suspect may be accounting for that, of course, situation that we're seeing in the report?
Well, I'll say a good afternoon to your viewers. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear, sir. All
right. So, fortunately, I was on that road a couple of weeks, I think 2 weeks ago, to do my own assessment on some of the roads we have in the corridor. And I've realized that, the road has actually experienced a lot of flooding. Yearly, when we have even minor rains within the capital, the Kaneshie stretch is not exempted from the remit of or the results of the inundated water on the road. And flood waters is an enemy to our road construction. One of the things I've seen on that road, I observed, was that the road it's old. We think there might be some assessment of the nature of what we call the road condition survey have to be carried out. And remedial works have to be done on the pothole part, all the potholes, and then possibly an overlay, an asphaltic overlay would be ideal, considering the result that will be determined or would be revealed after the road condition survey is done. When you do that condition survey, the expected or the outstanding lifespan of the road will be assessed per the results that you have. What I also saw was that in making it general, I've noticed that a lot of the roads experience floods suddenly after years of construction. Those may be attributed to unapproved structures which are actually put on the water channels, reducing the space or the area of the flow of water. And in that case, you get a lot of water onto the roads. These are all some of the external factors that will affect the road condition. But making it broader, I think some of the potholes that we see on our roads start as a result of the few external activities. You'll see a vehicle which has a bus tie moving on our road. In fact, you see that the metal wheel we'll be using will go across the road for a very long time before the car will come to a halt. Right. That thin line, that cut across the road, is a source of worry to the pavement integrity. You would have potholes which are done by local guys, especially some of the MPs or the assembly decide to give those section of the pothole patch into their or they are not properly constructed or remedied. It rather aggravates the situation. And I also know that the lack of funds from the central government in releasing to the various assemblies or the institutional agencies like the Department of Urban Roads and the Ghana Highway Authority and the Federal Roads to carry out these pothole patchings on time exponentially increase the deterioration on the roads when they are not done. So let's say if you have a diameter of an area like my palm, a pothole like my palm on one road, segmented across the stretch, and then they are supposed to be remedied like in the first quarter of the year. Before you come in by the second quarter or the third quarter.
Engineer, right.
Can you hear?
Right.
So it will exponentially increase the effect on the road.
I see. Well, we're grateful for your time here on The Pulse. That's Engineer Mallam joining us with his take on the latest in our series, Huge Potholes Exhibition. Don't forget that you can be a part of that. Hashtag GH Potholes, and we'll also get to see what's happening within your community. The local government ministry, specifically the Minister Dan Boche, has spent today visiting beneficiary metropolitan and municipal assemblies of the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project, GARID, as is otherwise known. His mission is to assess the progress of the ongoing desilting works on local drains in the assemblies as the rains are beginning to set in over the weekend. Videos of an astroturf in Nima flooded after a brief rainfall. And that situation is not peculiar to Nima alone. The entire city of Accra and other parts of the country are prone to flooding. And we'll get an update on the local government and ministries today, but we can speak to someone who knows about the work required to end this flooding in the country. Joining us now is Ernest Morgan Aqua, his PR and Corporate Affairs Manager for Zoomlion Ghana. Thank you for spending some time with us. GARID is underway. It's taking us so many years to complete the project itself, but the rains have set in, and many are wondering what exactly the situation, the solution will be at this time. I mean, we've spoken about it, so it's nothing new to you. You know, when it rains after 5 minutes, the whole place is flooded. What's the solution, really?
The solution, now we can talk of the have better systems, to have a proper non-flooding area. Each and everyone should know how to hold this waste, because the best way for waste management is to get a receptacle to hold your waste. So when you hold your waste well, it goes a long way in preventing flooding. Also, we can talk of, how do you call it, the planning.
Gone are the
days that when you go to Dansoman, when you go to Tema, the layout was so clear. But now everybody is building. And you go to Glife, the waterway, people are now filling up the waterways just to get the land to build on the land. But definitely water will find its way. So if we don't prevent these things and push on enforcement, that we should close our eyes and let the laws work. You know, if we allow it like that and everybody is doing what he wants to do, every day, every year, we will come and we'll be talking about flooding.
And since your company deals in waste, you were talking about that as part of the key challenge that we have as a country. Plastics have been part of the challenge. I don't know if beyond that there is a unique situation that you see with every Ghanaian, a reason for which you are, experiencing this flooding.
Yes, plastic. You know, plastic is our second generation point of waste. Waste that we get in the country. And what we are saying is that now we are putting value on the plastics. You know, I always say that when you see diamond and you can't do anything with a diamond, you see it as a stone and you leave it. But when you see a diamond on the floor, you pick it because you know it's a diamond. Let us put value on the plastics so that we don't leave it anywhere. Yeah. When you go somewhere, they pick the plastics, then they pay for it. So you wouldn't want to leave it anywhere. So that's why we, as a company, Zoomlion and the Jospon Group, now what we are doing is we are creating buyback centers. We are buying all the plastics in the system so that we would use these same plastics to produce waste bins, to produce plastic chairs, to produce buckets for us all. So that's the angle that we are going on. We have created recycling plant. We have one at the Kolebu stretch. We have one at Ajay Kotoku. We are also doing the transfer stations so that at least we would use the waste for something better in the system.
But then, when it comes to the attitude or, the behavior pattern of Ghanaians themselves, that will also count, definitely.
Yes, but that's why I talked about the enforcement. Because we've done lot of education. We have Zoom Kit Club, we have gone round, we've done mass media education. I can tell you, in fact, that everybody knows something that he or she is supposed to do concerning waste. But because when they do it, nothing happens. There's no punitive action. So you would do it rather than to go and pay for your waste or to do something. Right. So we are calling that the government should help us to whip small. When we start the whipping, I think things will fall in its place.
And that brings to mind the issue about a partnership with the Republic. You're running, for instance, a new partnership that would deal with some of these situations that we're looking at. Practically, what's the target and what do you seek to achieve working together with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development?
Yes, so we are in partnership with the Ministry of Sanitation, Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Health. But the aspect of enforcement lies solely with the MMDAs. So we as a private entity cannot do the enforcement. It's the MMDAs, with the help of the environmental health officers, they have the mandate to enforce the law. So we can just advise them, we can just motivate them, but they have to ensure that the enforcement is done so that we will all set up.
Any final message for Ghanaians who may also have to, in fact, it's a national duty now, because if the rains come, the flooding come, it will affect all of us. What's your expectation from the general public going forward?
What we expect from the general public is, first and foremost, to have a receptacle to hold your waste, and also know the person that is servicing your waste. Most of the times now, most of us are glued in using aboboya. Aboboya is not bad. Right. The informal sector is not bad. But let us know where they are taking the waste to. Some of them will pick the waste from the frontage of your house, deposit it behind your house. When it rains, it pushes it back to the frontage. You understand? Let us know where they are sending the waste to. That's why we are creating the transfer station, so that at least the proximity to the final disposal site will be short. And we should all be responsible. And if we are all responsible, we will not be shouting on the government every time to help us control the flooding.
Okay, then, and I'm grateful that you've been able to join us.